Member for North Vancouver Seymour.
Thank you, Chair. To the Minister, my questions are specific to the North Shore and recognized as one of the most congested areas in the region. So my first question is, will the $198 million Highway No. 1 4-phase Lower Lynn interchange project at the north end of the Ironworkers Memorial Bridge, the one that we approved, our government approved, along with the District of North Vancouver and the federal government, will that project be completed as planned? And are there any plans to widen the Highway No. 1 from Lynn Valley to Lonsdale?
Minister of Transportation.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for the question. I've been working closely with the member for the North Vancouver Lonsdale on this, who's also very congested, and I know the member has been working with it too, very concerned about the congestion right the way through the North Shore. It is a serious problem, very clearly. So yes, we are working on 4 phases. There is federal funding there. The first phase, I'm sure the member is aware, is under construction. The second phase is engineering work. The third phase, there is planning going on, and on the bridge, the 4th phase, it's engineering work as well.
North Vancouver Seymour.
And the second part of my question was is there any plan to widen the road from Lynn Valley to Lonsdale?
Minister of Transportation.
Thank you, Chair. At the moment, there aren't plans to do that work, but the ministry staff, and as you're very well aware, one relies very heavily on the professional engineers in these sorts of situations, are estimating that the improvements done here should ease the congestion, and I think that what we'll see is if the congestion does ease. I know that the member has also been working with my colleague from North Vancouver Lonsdale, very concerned about how to get more public transportation along through the North Shore. So hopefully with a combination of increased public transportation as well as this work that's happening on this area, that traffic will start to be able to flow more easily and people will be able to get to and fro more easily.
North Vancouver Seymour.
Thank you, Chair. My second question is about the Lionsgate Bridge. Is the Lionsgate Bridge still scheduled to be closed to vehicle traffic by 2030? If no, what is the schedule and timeline to make sure it's seismically safe for years beyond, or are there any plans to expand it? If yes, what are the minister's plans for the vehicle traffic that currently go over that bridge?
Minister of Transportation.
Thank you, Chair. I apologise to the member for the slow response, but we've just been puzzling about this, and the puzzle was that the staff and myself had never heard of any plans to close the Lionsgate Bridge by any date, if at all. It has been rehabilitated, it's had its seismic upgrades, it's had its joints fixed and its asphalt redone. It's looking in good shape. And just to let the member know that all our bridges get inspected annually, and Lionsgate is no exception, and it passes its annual inspection every year, so it's in good shape. It won't be, it's unlikely to be expanded. The structure would not allow for an expansion of the bridge deck.
North Vancouver Seymour.
Thank you to the Minister for that clarification. My third question is, will the Minister consider any changes to the Motor Vehicle Act to allow quicker cleanup of minor accidents, i.e. fender benders, as recommended by both North Vancouver municipalities and was also brought up at the UBCM convention recently?
Minister of Transportation.
Thank you, Madam Chair, to the member. Yes, that's an interesting issue, and I know I heard about it during UBCM and before UBCM. It isn't actually the Minister of Transportation's responsibility, it is the Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General. So I'd suggest asking him in his estimates about that, but it's something I know has been well discussed and well aired, and I'm sure he's got very strong views on it.
North Vancouver Seymour.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, well, thank you very much. I wasn't too sure where that was, so we'll direct our questions in that direction. And then my last question is also about the Motor Vehicle Act. Currently, there is no law at the moment in British Columbia to govern the safe passing distance of cyclists by automobiles. I understand Ontario just made the law that the motorist must leave a minimum of 1 meter distance when passing a cyclist, and increasing fines for dooring a cyclist to $300. Is there any interest in making those changes in British Columbia's Motor Vehicle Act similar to Ontario's?
Minister.
Thank you, Chair. And it's a group of cyclists talking about what other jurisdictions do and how you can stay safe on a bicycle, and how we can make sure that safety is paramount for cyclists and that vulnerable road users are protected. So we look at what other jurisdictions are doing for their legislation, and obviously we'll monitor what they're doing, see how effective it is, and also again work with the Solicitor General, because the whole enforcement issue of the police making sure that drivers, how you make sure that drivers, if you are a cyclist and you're doored, that you know, the drivers are reported. Likewise, the monitoring of how far people are passing, work with the RCMP to make sure that vulnerable road users are best protected.